Hi guys, and welcome to another batch of your replays. On a recent video, I had a game from the VK2801 by Dreadshells. That was the Tier 6 German light tank. And I figured, you know what, let's just cover the Tier 7s and Tier 8s. So today's video is the Aufklärungspanzer Panther with Saljin, and we're going to follow that up with a game from Quattro in the RU-251. So Tier 6, Tier 7 and Tier 8 German light tanks all featured on the channel recently. Let's just get going. So Saljin is here on Lakeville. Not a really good map for a scout tank, but it's a very misunderstood tank. You see, the Aufklärungspanzer Panther, I'm just going to call it the Aufpanther. I think it's more of a medium/light tank hybrid than it is a pure light tank or a pure scout. So while it can scout, it's not the best at it. And while it can be used like a medium tank, it's not the best at it. But it's very versatile because it can be used as a light tank or it can be used as a scout. Let's increase the size of the minimap. It's got very good armor for a light tank. And it's quite fast in a straight line. It's quite heavy. You can ram other light tanks to death. It's got a pretty good engine, as you can see Saljin climbing the side of the mountain here. But yeah, the gun is a little bit underwhelming. 157 millimeters of penetration, 135 alpha damage. But again, it's fine against lower tier tanks or higher or same tier tanks. But the Aufklärungs or the Aufpanther is very good at getting to the side and rear of enemy tanks. The premium ammo, 221 millimeters of penetration, which is very good, but again, you've got that alpha damage of 135, so alpha damage is not fantastic. And the penetration on the standard AP, not fantastic, but oh! T-37 going completely YOLO, and Saljin's able to take him out in third-person view. Gets spotted but falls back, and thankfully not too many shots coming in from the enemy team. So it's an encounter game, and Saljin's team split is actually looking okay. Maybe a little bit too many tanks on the mid-road, but they got a couple of heavies that went valley just to hold valley, and a lot of other tanks went town. And there you go. I think that was someone bouncing. I thought that was Saljin bouncing a shot, but it wasn't. Or maybe it was, I'm not quite sure. For some reason the damage log is not showing up. But you can see that Saljin's holding his fire. He knows he does not have the penetration to go through an E75. So there's absolutely no point in firing in order to give away his position. You see him aiming for weak spots, but he's got an orange reticule. So he's just keeping the E75 spotted while his teammates try and kill him. And there we go. So that T-37 turned out being a very good suicide scout. His corpse is giving Saljin's team cover to hide behind. Very unfortunate to bounce on the engine deck of a T-34, but again you can see orange reticule on the side of the turret. So yeah, Tier 7, Tier 9 game. And the enemy team, yeah, are fairly well distributed as well. They sent a few heavies into the valley, they sent a lot of tanks into town. So it's a pretty standard game here on Lakeville so far. And as you can see, Saljin's not playing like a scout. If he gets spots, that's good, but he's hanging further back than you'd normally see light tanks hang back. And someone spots the AMX 5100. So someone is putting shots into a T-28 prototype. So Saljin, obviously from the camera movements, is kind of wondering what he can do. Every single tank on the enemy team has now been spotted. So he knows where most of the enemy tanks are. And other than a very low health AMX 5100 in the middle, but possibly a Tiger camping in B7 or A7, B7. That's pretty much it. But T-28 prototypes in the middle are doing a good job. And things are not looking as good now. Enemy team are making a push on the 2 line. The Tiger is indeed still where he was last spotted. Saljin trying to get into a position where he can get shots. But enemy team are pushing Valley. Valley is under pressure. So Saljin really needs to go and try and do something now. The T-28 prototypes in the middle, they need to go back and defend. So again, Saljin's been quite cautious. As I say, the only tank that has not been spotted on the enemy team is RT. He knows exactly where everyone else is. So pushing forward, gets a spot in the Tiger, does not get spotted in return. So does he go for the Tiger? No! He's going for enemy RT. Just trying to find RT. Yep, seems he's changed his mind. He looks as if he's going for the Tiger now. Again, it's been a few months since I last watched this replay, but you see that the standard AP, fine for going through something like a Tiger. And there we go, 3 shots in, had not been spotted. And he's decided to help town. The 1-2 lines, lost cause, he's helping town. He's got behind a Borsig. And as I say, this is a very good tank. It's almost a hybrid light tank, medium tank. When you use it for flanking, use its speed to get behind enemy tanks, it can be a really good tank. I think it's a little bit misunderstood because, as I say, the Panther, it's not really a good scout. If you play it like a scout, you're gonna get frustrated. And if you play it like a medium tank, you're going to get frustrated because even though it has armor, it's not as well armored as a lot of medium tanks, and the gun is very lacking for a medium tank. So it really is a hybrid between a light and a medium. It's a support tank, but he's moving in, he's taking shots at the weak lower glacis on the Centurion 7-1. So, he's decided that he needed to help his teammates in town. And neither the Tiger or Saljin wants to get hit by this 7-1. But he gets 1 shot into the turret ring. Very nice. Is he going to get another shot in? He does, but he leaves him on 5 health. Oh, that was a little bit unfortunate. Rolled a little bit low, left the Centurion on 5 health, ended up losing half his health as a result. And at the moment, the score is 10-12. It is 3 versus 5. But it looks like a lot of the enemy tanks are on low health. So again, Saljin on the move, using third person really well. He's switched to premium ammo. He's got the rate of fire to put a second shot in. Takes out the IS-3. There's kill number 3. He's up to 1800 damage, maybe more because there were a couple of blind shots fired. But again, he's just looking for targets of opportunity, using the tank's mobility. It is now 2 versus 3. Someone takes out the Tiger 2. But there's a Tiger 2 and a Yag Tiger sitting on the middle road, side on. And this is a dream, because the penetration on the standard AP doesn't matter here. Although Saljin is still firing premium ammo. I think maybe he's forgotten to switch back. But he's just going to work here. So needs 2 more shots. You see that the alpha damage or the low alpha damage is quite poor. Alright, T-28 takes out the Jagdtiger. Jagdtiger stupidly turned to face the scout who was shooting him from stealth. Gave his side to the T-28 prototype. So now the RT has been spotted south. RT came down the valley. And Saljin's only got 1 round of premium left. Bounces, he's left with standard AP. And if he'd been firing standard AP earlier on, he would have had some premium ammo left to deal with the Tiger II. But you can see that, as I say, in some situations the gun is lacking, and as a result a lot of people don't like this tank. But it's 2 versus 1 now. I forgot to mention, T-28 prototype got taken out. So it's Saljin versus a Tiger II and RT. 2.6 damage, or 2.6k damage, 3 kills. And again, he doesn't want to deal with the Tiger II frontally. He doesn't have the gun to penetrate the Tiger II frontally. He's relocating, and as you can see, he's doing 60 kilometers an hour here. The tank accelerates quite fast. It's good in a straight line. Maybe not the best, it loses a lot of speed when it's maneuvering and traversing, but yep, there you go. He's just ambushed RT. Misses a shot in the move. Looks like the Tiger II is still back there. RT misses. And he's able to move in, set RT on fire, take him out. There's kill number 4. Takes Saljin up to 3k damage. Tiger II left, but as I say, Saljin just has standard AP left. So he needs to get to the side or rear of the Tiger II. But he's constantly on the move, unfortunately gets spotted. So he's going to have to hang here till he drops off radar. So, the Aufklärungspanzer Panther, it is reasonably well armoured. Saljin hasn't had an opportunity to show off the armour yet. But I think you can see that it's a pretty versatile tank. Some really, really nice flanking. Early spots, damage dealing, flanking. It's a very, very solid game. So again, Saljin looking for a way to sneak into town while not being spotted. And all he's looking for is a side or a rear shot. And it looks like, does he have a side shot? He does have a side shot. And he takes him out with a shot on the move. So kill number 5 for Saljin in the Aufpanther. A tank, as I say, I think a lot of people underestimate. So just the ace tanker for Saljin, no other medals unfortunately. Could have maybe ended up with a Top Gun at one stage, but still a really, really good performance in the tank. And it's very, very rare you see the Aufpanther doing 3k damage. Big damage gain, 3075 damage done, 5 kills, and a big, big XP total, 1559 XP. Really, really nice game, and Saljin was showing off the Aufpanther to its absolute best there. It's not a pure light tank. It's not a medium tank. It's a hybrid between the two, and if you play it like that, get to the sides and rear of enemy tanks, it can be a very, very good tank. He fired 45, hit 42, so the accuracy was pretty good. Penetration was fairly poor, 27 penetrations out of the 42 shots fired, and he was firing quite a bit of APCR in the middle of the game, and if I had one nitpick, it would probably be that maybe he didn't need to fire APCR at some of the targets he fired at, but it's very easy when you're in the heat of battle to forget to switch back to normal AP. But nice damage, as I say, 1 spotted, 8 damaged, and 5 destroyed, and even though he wasn't taking up a spotting position on the middle road, where light tanks are normally more advanced. He was a little bit further back. He still managed to do 1,833 assistance damage. He managed 2 base capture points, 25 base defense points, and as I say, because he forgot to switch back from APCR to standard AP, he was firing more APCR than he needed to, and ended up making a loss. But regardless, I think you can still see that the Aufklärungspanzer is still a very, very good tank. It's a little bit underwhelmed. I mean, if you had a choice between a Bulldog and the Panther, I'd rather be driving a Bulldog, but still a very, very good performance. And the main reason I decided to sell mine was because I wanted the crew for the RU-251, but yeah, it's not a bad tank. I mean, you'll hear a lot of people say bad things about this tank. They call it the awful Panther. I think it's only awful if you try and play it like a light tank. Or it's only awful if you only try and play it like a medium tank. You got to embrace the tank, and you got to realize it's a hybrid between the two. It doesn't do anything particularly well, but it doesn't do anything particularly badly. 2,338 XP on a ×2 first game of the day with a bonus thrown in, left him just short of 6,000 XP. So a really, really nice example of what the Aufklärungspanzer can do, and thank you for sending it in, Saljin. Next up, we've got the RU-251, the Tier 8 German light tank. This thing can be a little beast, although I do admit I'm struggling a little bit in it to play it well. But Quatro4444 has ended up in a Tier 9 game here on Redshire, and we are just going to go. This is a very, very fast tank, very, very lightly armoured. I think it's the fastest tank in the game. But it's got a very, very nice gun, although the shell trajectory is a little bit slow. 190 penetration with 240 alpha damage. Reasonably fast rate of fire. It fires heat, 250 penetration, 240 alpha damage. And the HE is not, well, it's okay. The HE actually is okay. 102 millimeters of penetration with 320 alpha damage. But it's got a very good gun. It's a very, very good scout. As I say, I'm still struggling to play it well. But here on Redshire, Quattro has moved into one of the strongest passive scouting positions there is. That RU-251 is one of the better players on the enemy team. I don't know what he was doing coming up that side of the hill, but he gets himself spotted. And Quattro is spotting a lot of tanks moving across. He just needs the tanks on the hill to actually hit what he's spotting. But this RU-251 constantly being spotted. There is RT on the enemy team, and when I play RT on this map, one of the first things I do if I spawn on the other side of the map is I put shots into these bushes, because if there are any light tanks or good medium players on the enemy team, this is the bush they go into. So these tanks are sitting on the top of the ridge. They're being spotted by Quattro, and you can see Quattro is wondering why his team aren't putting shots into them. Lots of targets here, but very little damage being done to them. Yeah, lots of shots being missed. Now there's an IS-3 moving up, and again you could see some very good passive scouting here. RU-251 has been tracked, but again, for some reason, none of the tanks on the ridge were able to shoot. You could hear someone putting blind shots into this bush. They know he's here. I think it was the T-37. So Quattro, yeah, understandably gets upset. He finally decides to fire. Worst thing you could do while passive scouting. But it gets him spotted. Thankfully, he doesn't pay the price, doesn't get shot by too many tanks. But he's just gotten his first kill on the T-37. He's just taken out the STA-1, side of a tortoise. And unfortunately, fails to pen. So he's gone into damage dealing mode. He's destroyed the tortoise. That's kill number 3. AMX 1390 has gone on a run on the IS-3 below. Quattro decides to advance to support. So he's done with his scouting. Now he's gone into damage dealing mode. He's on 1,000 damage so far, although he did fire a couple of blind shots. 3 kills. And he takes his first damage. So Pershing manages to pen him. He bounces on the Pershing. And this AMX 1390 and Quattro are working together. So what they want to do is they want to try and ambush the tanks on the other side of the hill while not getting shot by the Pershing. Now a Panther has come down to support. So this is just a nice little wolf pack that sometimes happens in a random battle. Nice to see the tanks working together. So they've moved up. And it's just a matter of putting in shots where they can. Now he does have shots on the roof of the IS-3. Could possibly take shots there, but decides not to. The gun depression over the front of this tank is quite poor. Gun depression over the side is much, much better. As you can see, just a slight rise in the ground. Isn't able to get the gun depression to get a shot into the T-32. Decides to go for it. One shot in, using the acceleration, using the speed. T-32 misses. Comes around, puts another shot in. And the alpha damage is not high enough to get that kill, but 3 kills, 1.8k damage. 30 in the distance, has just been flanked by that 1390. These light tanks are doing a lot of good work here on Redshire. So manages to get another shot in, and the 1390 finishes off the 30. So this game is looking over. The score is 9-3. Some nice passive scouting in the beginning of the game by Quattro. He's moved into damage dealing mode. You can see the acceleration on this tank. The speed is great. The armor, not so good. And as I say, gun depression sometimes lets me down. So a nice shot on the move takes out the Su-14-2. There's kill number 4, 2k damage. But yeah, I'm still getting used to the slow shell trajectory on this tank and the slow shell velocity. Still getting used to the fact that the gun depression can be quite poor on some areas of the tank, but very, very good on others. But you can see that the accuracy is very, very good. Sets a Pershing on fire, and KB-13 nicks the kill while the Pershing was on 13 health. He would have burned to death there, unfortunately, but Quattro is still on the rampage. He's up to 3k damage because of that engine fire, 4 kills. I don't know why this replay is laggy. It was fine when I was watching it earlier on. It's laggy when I'm trying to record it. But again, using the speed, 73, 74 kilometers an hour, getting to the sides of enemy tanks. He's gotten to the rear. Nope, he had the rear of an IS-8. Unfortunately, bounces on the spaced armor. This is a little bit dangerous. He's been spotted. IS-8 went stealth, but the IS-8's not focused on him. That's fine. And again, having problems penning the IS-8 through spaced armor. Aims a little bit further down, and there we go. A little bit more damage. So he's still only firing AP. Hasn't fired any premium in this game yet. Only one tank left on the enemy team. It's an E75. And again, this wolf pack. Panther manages to get to his rear. Quattro comes up. Oh, E75 on low health. And the E75 gets taken out. And well played by Shaggy72 and his Panther. A little bit of rage there that Quattro picked up the kill. Puts a shot into Quattro at the end of the game. So in addition to the ace tanker, Quattro also picked up a Confederate medal. He finished top on XP with 1415 and did a huge amount of damage, 3,700 damage. He was actually the top damage dealer on his team as well as the top XP earner, 5 kills, but it was quite a favourable matchup for Quattro. It was a tier 9 game, but not too many tier 9s on the enemy team. But you could see what a beast this tank can be. The gun is very, very good once you get used to its shell velocity. Quattro fired 21, he hit 20. The gun is very, very accurate, again, when you get used to its shell velocity. Of the 20 hits, he penned 17. So the penetration on the gun is very, very good. He wasn't firing any premium. It was all AP in that game. 5 spotted. 11 damaged, 5 destroyed, 2,242 assistance damage. And again, maybe a little bit unfortunate that he didn't get more assistance damage at the beginning. He was spotting a lot of tanks, and for some reason the tanks behind him were not able to hit the enemy tanks. But still, decent assistance damage, 46,000 credits on a premium account, 2,000 XP gain on a premium account overall. No first game of the day, but really, really solid game. And that was the RU-251. So I want to thank Saljin for the Aufpanther game and Quattro for the RU-251 game. They are two pretty good tanks, although I think the RU-251 is a little bit better, and really I didn't see any point in keeping the Aufpanther myself, but it's not a bad tank. I don't think it deserves the name when people call it Awful Panther, and it's simply worth grinding through. It's because at the end of the Aufpanther, you get the RU-251, and the RU-251 is a great tank if you like scouts and if you like playing lightly armoured but fast mobile tanks with good guns. It's a good tank. So thanks to Saljin and Quatro for sending those replays in. I hope you guys at home enjoyed watching them. I'll see you next time.